Hello, my dear students. So, today we will start our new chapter Excretion and Osmoregulation. Now, excretion is the elimination of metabolic waste across the cell membrane. Now, the waste products are formed due to catabolism of glucose, amino acids, glycerol, and fatty acids. And the waste products are carbon dioxide, water, bile pigments, and nitrogenous wastes. Now, excess of inorganic salts, hormones, and vitamins are also considered as the waste. Now, lungs, they excrete carbon dioxide, water, and other volatile substances. Now, bile pigments, bilirubin and biliverdin are formed in liver by breakdown of the hemoglobin, okay, now which pass out through the intestine. Skin also helps in the elimination of urea, inorganic salts, water through sweat glands. Okay. Now, kidney that play a major role as an excretory organs in all vertebrates. Now, what are the major functions performed by the kidney? Now, three major roles. First one, to eliminate the nitrogenous waste in the form of urine. Second, maintain water balance of the body. And the third very important function, that it maintains concentration of hydrogen ions in the organism. So these are the three major roles performed by kidney, and kidney is an excretory organ in all vertebrates. Now, based on the nature of nitrogenous excretory end products, animals shows three modes of excretion. Now, what are those? So, one by one, the first one is a ammonotelism. Now, with this one, in this, the excretory product is in the form of ammonia. Ammonia is highly soluble in water and highly toxic. It can be excreted by simple diffusion method. So its concentration in the body is kept very low. So it can not be retained in the body for long time. Why? Because it is highly toxic. So it cannot be retained in the body for long time. For this elimination, large quantity of water is required. Due to this, ammonotelism is seen especially in aquatic invertebrates such as bony fishes, tadpole, larva of frog. So they shows this type of mode of excretion, that is ammonotelism, where the ammonia is the excretory product. In these animals, ammonia diffuses out through skin, gills and kidney. Right? So here I have shown the structure of a bony fish, and this one is the tadpole larva of the frog. So this is the first mode of excretion. Now next is a ureotelism. Now here elimination of nitrogenous waste is in the form of urea. That's why it is a ureotelism. Now certain animals cannot get sufficient amount of water to excrete ammonia. So as ammonia is very toxic, I already explained, fine. So it must be converted to the less toxic form. So in liver, in these animals, ammonia combines with carbon dioxide and then it converts into urea. Urea formation requires expenditure of energy and it is formed by ornithine cycle. That energy which is required for the conversion of ammonia to urea, so it is formed by ornithine cycle. Urea is soluble in water, stored in dissolved form called the urine. Okay. And elimination of urea requires moderate amount of water. So here animals like frog, turtle, toads, mammals or marine fishes, they shows such type of mode of excretion, and that comes under ureotelic organisms. Now uricotelism. Now what is this uricotelism? Here elimination of nitrogenous waste is in the form of uric acid. Now synthesis of uric acid from ammonia requires more energy, and here it takes place in liver by inosinic pathway. Fine. Now it is advantageous, this one uricotelism type. It is excuse me. It is advantageous for desert and terrestrial animals as it is less toxic, harmless and insoluble in water. Uric acid is eliminated in the form of solid pellets or thick paste, which requires negligible amount of water for its elimination. So these animals can conserve water by uricotelism, by the mode of excretion called uricotelism. Now animals like land snails, reptiles, birds, terrestrial insects, lizards, snakes, which cannot afford to lose water, in this case, now in human and other mammals, small quantity of uric acid is formed in the body by breakdown of purine and pyrimidine nitrogenous bases of nucleic acid. So this is all about the uricotelism. So there are the three modes, major three modes of excretion. What are those? Ammonotelism, ureotelism and uricotelism. Now there is one more term, gout. Now what is this? In some persons, due to defective metabolism, excess uric acid get deposited in joints of bones, which cause painful arthritis. Fine. So in few persons, due to defective metabolism, excess uric acid get deposited where? Joints of bones. So that causes the painful arthritis. Now there is one more mode of excretion, that is guanotelism. Now what is this? Here actually in few cases, spiders, scorpions, penguins, here they excrete these organisms, spiders, scorpions and penguins, they excrete mostly guanine. So that's why they are called guanotelic organism. And the mode of secretion is guanotelism. But the major one is the ammonotelism, ureotelism and uricotelism. These are the different modes of excretion, depend upon which type of nitrogenous excretory end product is formed. Now there is one more important term, osmocon. Yeah, this one. So osmoconformers. Now what is this osmoconformers? The animals whose body fluids are in osmotic balance with its environment. And these osmoconformers, they survive in wide range of salinities. And another term is osmoregulators. Now these animals that maintain a constant internal osmotic environment in spite of changes in its external environment. This is the main difference between the osmoconformers and osmoregulator. These osmoregulators, they maintain a constant internal osmotic environment in spite the external environment is changing. And they can survive in narrow range of salinities, these osmoregulators. But osmoconformers can survive in wide range of salinities. Now, another very important term, that is stenohaline organism and urohaline organism. What are these? See, stenohaline organism, here that organism can tolerate only narrow range of salt concentration. Narrow range, isn't it? See, here only can survive in narrow range of salinity. So, osmoregulators example that will come under the stenohaline. This is the example, because the stenohaline organisms can tolerate only narrow range of salt concentration. And urohaline organisms, they are capable of handling wide changes in the salinity, wide range of salt concentration. So, urohaline, they are osmoconformer, and stenohaline, they are osmoregulator. Now, another type of excretory organs, such as excretion in the case of the sponges. How that takes place? That is by diffusion of the waste material and in water, diffusion of waste material in water, and which is discharged through osculum. This is the organ from where the excretory waste products come out in the case of the sponges. Now, in the case of unicellular, they have the contractile vacuole. Now, very important term here, that true excretory organs are found in animals usually, which shows the bilateral symmetry, and that most commonly through the nephridopores, this term. Now we will study a little bit in detail about the nephridopores. So mainly the true excretory organs are found in the animals, and that is through the nephridopores. So here we have studied osmoconformer, osmoregulators. Stenohaline, they are osmoregulator, and urohaline, they are osmoconformer, because osmoconformers, they can survive in a wide range of salinities. Fine. Now, nephridopores. Now, there are two types of nephridia. Fine. Now, one is the protonephridia and another one is metanephridia. Okay. Now, here, first one, protonephridia. So, this protonephridia that occurs in invertebrates, including phyla Platyhelminthes, Rotifera and Chordatas. The main characteristic feature of this is that they are closed by flame. They are closed by flame cells. Here I have given the structure of flame cell also. So this one is the main important characteristics of protonephridia, that they are closed by flame cell, and they are the network of dead end tubules without excuse me, without internal openings. So this is about the protonephridia. Another one is metanephridia. Now this one is unbranched coiled tubes that connect to body cavity through funnel-like structure called nephrostomes. See, here you can see this is metanephridium structure. This is nephrostome. Okay, so that connect to the body cavity through this one funnel-like structure. This is the funnel-like structure, nephrostome. Now, body fluid enters the nephridium through nephrostome, through this that enters into the body nephrostome and gets discharged through nephridiopore. This one, these pores are there, just see. So body fluid enters through nephrostome and discharge out through the nephridiopore. The example here, the best example is earthworm. You can see the structure of the earthworm. So there are two types of nephridias, that is protonephridia and metanephridia. Okay. Now another excretory organ, that is Malpighian tubule. Now they are the slender tubes normally found in the posterior region of arthropod alimentary canal. Each tubule consists of single layer of cells that is closed off at the distal end with the proximal end joining the alimentary canal. and mainly at the junction between the midgut and hindgut. Here, see midgut, hindgut, this one midgut, hindgut, and these are the Malpighian tubules through which the excretory waste product comes out from the body of arthropods. So this one is the region, the arthropod alimentary canal. So this is another type of excretory organ, Malpighian tubules. Now, in the case of crustaceans, they have green glands, excretory organ. Here, this case, this internal structure of the crayfish, here you can see this is the green gland. Okay, here, green color, this one. So this one is a green gland, excretory organ in the case of crustaceans. In the case of echinodermata organisms, they have the excretory organ tube feet. Here you can see echinodermata, example starfish. There are number of tube feet are there, and this is the enlarged portion of tube feet. Here they are present. In each arm of the starfish, number of tube feet are present. So these are the excretory organs in the case of echinodermata. In the case of crustaceans, they have the green gland. So this is all about the excretory organs and different type of organism, different type of mode of excretion. Depend upon that, there are division, that ammonotelism, ureotelism and uricotelism, isn't it? And then we have studied about the types of nephridia also, protonephridia and metanephridia. And this is about the green gland and tube feet. Thank you.